Right, so I just received this awesome saber from Sabertrio and I've played around with it, but now it's time to customize it. Assuming that I can't use Bluetooth because this isn't installed on these sabers, and I can't use Crystal FX for desktop because I'm on a MacBook or a Mac computer. What can I do to use a real-time editor for this saber? Now, there's a new option, and that's on the website crystalfocus.net. You can use the web configurator, and I'm going to show you how you can enable this for your Sabertrio saber. Let's go. The first thing that you'll need to do is you're going to need to access the USB or the SD card that's inside the hilt. So let me switch. What you need to do is you need to unscrew the pommel, and then you will see the CFX card, the USB port, and just below that, under the USB port, you will see the SD card. It's present there, and it's a click system, so you can press it and then the SD card will pop out, and it can be hard to get it out, so you might need to use a pair of tweezers to get it out, and then use any adapter like such an adapter to put this in your SD card slot on your computer. But you can also do this in another way. So let me pop this back in. Right, so if you connect this with the cable that's provided to your PC, let's do that. The cable is connected, and you can start up the saber. Once it booted up, you can press the auxiliary button and keep it pressed to go into the vocal menu. Now, if you have a OLED screen, you will see the menu options, and I don't know if it's going to focus on this. But you can move through the menus, through the fonts. Until you reach the SD card USB access menu option. And if you select that by pressing the main button, then you can now navigate on your computer to the SD card. So let me open a Explorer. So this is on a Windows computer, but now you will see the SD card contents over here. Now, what's very important is that you always create a backup of your SD card. So copy the entire SD card to your computer before you start making any changes, which is very important. So if you make any changes, then you can always revert back to the original situation. So that's very important. If you've done that, then you're good to go. And you can start working out how to connect this to the web configurator. Now, let's move on to the website. And if you go to crystalfocus.net, you can now log in for the creators options. So let's log in. You can log in using any social media. And after you have logged in, you can go to the creators options, and then select Crystal FX Web. Now, here are several options that you can use to connect your saber, and we're going to use the USB option. But to enable web USB on your CFX, you need to add the line web USB is www in the special text. So let's do that first. So I'll select this. And I've still got the USB access to the files. I'll move into the special.txt, and once I've opened that, I can paste this on a line on its own, save the file, close this, and then I can disable the USB access once again by pressing the main button or the auxiliary button. So now USB access has been disabled and the Saber will reboot by itself. Now, if you're doing this on a Windows computer, right now you'll need to do the following step, and that is you'll need to go into the device manager. So let's search for this device manager. That's over here. You need to scroll all the way down until you see the Universal Serial Bus Devices. If you open this, you will see the Plector Web USB, and you'll need to uninstall this. Once it's uninstalled, press this icon to scan for hardware changes, and it will automatically reinstall the correct driver once again. Now, once you've done this, and if you're on a Mac and you're using the Chrome browser, so that's very important, you need to use the Chrome browser when you're working on your Mac, you can now connect using the USB option. And you can select the SaberCore X SD card and connect, and now you're in the web configurator. So that's awesome. And let's test this. I can power on, I can power off, so that's awesome. And let me give you a small tour of the options, what you can do here. You have a little handy remote control option over here, so that's the same options you have over here, but they're always present no matter which section of the web configurator you're using. So I can power on, power off, use clash, blaster effects. When I go to the volume menu option, of course, I can change the volume. I can save the changes, but here I can also start editing my blade profile. So let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see. Let's place it over here. Now, if I go to the blade profile options, you will see several sections over here. Like the battle effects, blade effects, well, and let me show you what these blade effects can do. So now you'll see it's a fairly stable blade, so it's mostly solid white with just a little bit of flickering, and I can edit this in real time, so make it flicker really deep and also make it pulse really deep. Set the pulse length, so let's set this to something a bit longer, and let's kill the flickering so you'll see the pulse better. Here you go. You can change some unstable effects, so now there's no unstable effect, and let me kill the pulse again. But you can change this to let's say an unstable blade, which is hard to see on camera right now. A rainbow blade, it's better, and you have all these options you can choose and just click and see them immediately on your Saber, which is awesome because you don't have to use the text file and the text configuration. You can just do this on the fly. The same goes for the color profile. I can change the colors on the fly, and this is the RGB, so red, green and blue, and a white combination. So if I only select the red, then the blade of course will be red. And at the bottom here you'll see these are all the different colors that you can set. This is the same as over here. So this blade, flash, lockup, flicker, bold. So if I select the blade, that's the first one, and it's red right now, but I can also make it green, for example. And if I show some blaster effects right now, I don't know if you can see this very well. Right now, if I select the bolt, it's this color, but let's make this entirely red, so maybe it will be visible more on the camera. So So there it is, it's a bit more visible. Now let's see if we can change the lockup color. And I can select the lockup over here. And we can change this also on the fly. So let's make this blue. There you go. So here you can set each and every color from the color profile which is currently active. Now, let's power off. Here you'll see the list of sound fonts that is on your Saber and the currently active sound font, so that's snippets. You'll also have a blade and color profiles overview. This will show all the blade and color profiles that are currently installed on your Saber. Here you go. So you can also, once powered on, select these and try out the different color profiles in combinations with the different blade profiles. So here's a fire profile, an unstable profile, a rain profile, rainbow, very nice. So this is a very useful tool which can help you get to know your Saber and see what's installed and actually change this on the fly as well. Now, if you want to change different parts like the main configuration, this can be useful. Like if you have different sets of blades with different blade lengths. Let's power on again. Here you can set the number of blades on your, of the number of pixels in your blade strip. So that's very useful. You can actually see once you hit the correct number and all the pixels in your blade will light up. So that's correct again. And you can do this for the drag strip. You can set the size. So right now it's pretty okay, but if I want I can set this to the entire length of the blade and move it back until I've got a size that I really like. Now, in the font configuration you can change stuff like how fast the ignition effect will be visible and which start blade profile and which start color profile is linked to the sound font. And let me see, for the ignition speed, so that's the animation speed which determines how fast the animation will move up the blade, and by default now it's set on 200. So that's pretty fast, but I can make it way longer. And that should work. No, it's kind of the ignition sound is very short, so I can't set this the animation duration. I can't set it to a longer duration than the sound effect. So this is a very short sound effect, and I should select a different sound font to make that visible. So this sound font has a bit of a longer sound effect for the ignition, and I should be able to set this to a bit longer effect. There you go. So with the quick on parameter in the font configuration you can set the ignition speed, and the quick off will set the retraction speed. And you can immediately see this on the blade, which is very useful for trial and error. If you're using the text file only, it can be quite a hassle. If there's music installed on your Saber, you can play this from here. So if the sound font has any tracks, let me see. This hasn't. And if the Saber has any tracks, it has. So that's also fun. It can be if you're trying out different files and different music files on your Saber. You can use this to test them out. Now, which is also very much fun, is that you can try out all the different blade profiles from the blade profile library that's on the website. So you know all these blade profiles that are on the website and that have videos. Now, right here, you can test them out and look at the video. This is a Kylo effect, and you can choose to apply them or to not apply them to the saber. So let's apply this, and immediately we'll see this is now a Kylo blade. So let's try this new flame-based flicker. Let's see how it should look. So it's a fire effect. Now, let's apply this. And you'll see immediately on the saber also this is now a fire effect. So let's try just one different one. This is a fire to ice. So that's the ice effect. Let's try this. And there you go, that's the ice effect on here and on motion. I can't show it because I'm hooked up to the USB. It will also move to fire right now. So there's quite a lot of these blade profiles that you can try out. Unstable Sauron, let's have a look. There you go, Unstable Sauron. So that's quite a lot of fun. You can try this out just like I showed you, and it's for free the first month, and if you think it's useful enough, then it's about $10 for the rest of the year. I think that should add a lot of value to your saber. Right, now, if you have any questions about this, don't hesitate to contact me. You can do this right now with your Sabertrio saber or any other CFX saber that you have USB access to. So try it out and let me know what you think. Have fun!